friends, my name is Aaliyah and welcome to my channel, Aaliyah Uncharted. It is 2021, thank goodness. I think we're all more than happy to have 2020 behind us, which means I'm not going to mention how long it's been since I posted a video. I am just glad to be here. We're back on this channel and we're ready to go. So today I wanted to talk about the books that I'm wanting to start the year off with for the month of January. And yeah, we're going to see how it all goes. I've got a couple challenges and a couple things I'm trying to mix up with my reading this year. And so hopefully January will be a good start. We can get some momentum going, something like that. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the books. Okay, so to start off, I don't remember where I first heard it. I think it may have been Murphy at Murphy Napier. But I remember some booktuber mentioning a good habit of starting off the year rereading a favorite book just to, you know, start the year on a good foot, have some momentum going, that kind of thing. And I feel like 2021 is as good a year as any to implement that. So that being said, this year I am going to start off reading or rereading Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I first read this in 2019 when it came out. It was my favorite book of the year, and I haven't actually reread the whole thing since, although I've revisited a lot of favorite passages since then. And so I'm really excited to just get to relive the whole story all over again. So if you missed the hype from 2019 or you haven't really heard much about it, Red, White, and Royal Blue is a male-male new adult romance about Alex, this guy, who is the first son of the United States, and Prince Henry of Wales. They have kind of an enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers kind of situation going on. Essentially, they don't really like each other. And then they cause an international incident at the royal wedding and they have to fix it. So their respective PR teams kind of make them fake a friendship, which turns into more than their PR teams probably ever anticipated. So it's just a whole lot of fun. It's one of the most laugh out loud funny books I have ever read in my life. And it just brings me so much joy, just constant grinning on my face when I'm reading this. And so you can see I've got a bookmark in here. I'm almost halfway done already. And it's a light in my life. And so I'm really glad that I'm starting off the year with this. We're going to start out strong. So the next book I'm planning on reading is Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. This is the second book in the Diviners Quartet. I read the first book, The Diviners, also in 2019, interestingly enough, during spooky season. And I really enjoyed it, but I haven't gotten around to the sequel yet. And so actually one of the things that I'm planning on doing this year is I'm participating in the Buzzword Reading Challenge. It used to be the Buzzwordathon that was hosted by Kayla at Books and Lala, but she's kind of stepped back and has turned into more of a community reading challenge where there is an assigned buzzword for every month of the year, and you have to read at least one book with that word in the title for every month. Some people are making it a week-long readathon at the first week of every month. I'm not going to do that. I'm just planning on reading one book with that buzzword within the month. So the buzzword for January is dream. So it just seemed like a really good opportunity to finally continue this series that I haven't read in over a year. So anyway, I can't really get into what Lair of Dreams is about because sequel, but I can tell you about The Diviners. So The Diviners is a young adult paranormal kind of mystery book set in 1920s New York. We are following a handful of characters, but the primary character is Evie O'Neill. And Evie has a special ability where she can read the history of objects that she touches. So who their owner was, what they were feeling when they were using it, that kind of thing. She is sent to go live with her uncle in New York as kind of a punishment for misbehaving, and finds herself in an interesting position. Her uncle is helping with some interesting cases that seem a little weird, and Evie finds that her special abilities might come in handy. So it kind of starts like a snowball of just a lot of weird happenings. We're following a couple other characters with special abilities, and it gets real spooky. I really enjoyed it when I first read it, and so I'm really excited to finally get to the sequel because I'm interested to see where it goes from where the Diviners ended. The next book I wanted to mention is Ace by Angela Chen. So another thing that I'm trying to do this year is to read at least one nonfiction a month. I don't tend to read nonfiction, and well, it's like I want to read more nonfiction because a lot of the nonfiction I read isn't nonfiction I necessarily like, but I know there's nonfiction I like. So we're trying to read more nonfiction that I like. And what a way to start than to read a whole book about asexuality. So the subtitle is What Asexuality Reveals About Desire, Society, and the Meaning of Sex. This came out in 2020, and I've heard Angela Chen talk on a couple different podcasts now. It just sounds really interesting. I've heard a lot that it's both supposed to be an informative book just about what asexuality is about, but also her personal experiences with it, how she kind of came to terms with her sexuality, what it looks like in practice, that kind of thing. And so I'm really interested to read more about this. I'm trying to read more books with ace rep anyway, and so it feels like a good place to go. Also, I'm kind of low-key obsessed with this cover. Not that that has anything to do with the content, but I mean, I like it. It's fine. So yeah, I'm excited to get to this. And we're going to see what I think. Okay, so the next book I'm planning on reading in January is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Now, I've heard of Matt Haig a lot, and I know a lot of his books are on my radar. The Humans especially is one that I'm really interested in, so I'm excited to finally get into his work. This won the fiction category of the Goodreads Choice Awards in 2020. And I'm actually going to be buddy reading this with my mom, which is going to be fun. So it is an adult fiction novel about this midnight library. And in the library, there's an infinite number of books. And all of the books have, like, they're the stories of of an infinite number of alternate universes. One book will be your life. It's just your life as it is, how it happened. But then there would be another book showing what your life would be like if you had made one different decision or if you did one thing differently and how it would have changed your life, like what the ripple effect would have looked like. It's just a telling of an entire alternate reality. And so there's all these books with all of these different endings for your life. And so I think we're following this woman named Nora who finds herself in the Midnight Library and also finds herself faced with the choice of whether to keep with her story as written or to maybe do something else based on what she sees in the other books of the other alternate lifetimes. So that's all I know about this. I know that Matt Haig's book tend to kind of get a little speculative, obviously, because fancy library with alternate realities. But that's about all I know. So we're going to see how it goes, but it sounds really interesting. I'm excited to start reading Matt Haig. You love any kind of book about books or libraries anyway, so we're going to get started on it, and I'm really excited to get into this. So the next book I want to talk about is one that I was really hoping to get to in 2020, but I just never got around to it. You know, it was one of those where you have a book you're really excited about, but you're in a reading slump, and so you put it off because you don't want your reading slump to affect your reading experience of the book you're really excited about, right? That was this book for me. And so that is Elatsoe by Darcy Little Badger. Like I said, this came out in 2020 and I was really stoked to get to it and I just never got there. I never felt like I was in a good mindset to give it the time and attention it deserves, but I think I have it now, which is great because I'm really excited about this book. So this is about a girl named Elatsoe. She is a Lapanapachi girl living in a kind of alternate world where it's like America, but magic exists. Think like, you know, there are fantastical and paranormal creatures. You can make an orb of light show up with your hand, you know, like casual magic. And so Elatsoe comes from a family of people able to raise the spirits of the dead, I think specifically dead animals. And so she finds herself confronted with the spirit of her recently deceased cousin. And her cousin tells her that his death was not an accident. And so she finds herself in a position of having to figure out what went down. So she uses her skills and a ghost dog, I think, to help figure out this mystery and see what is up. That is all I know, and it just sounds so good. I'm really excited to get to this. I've heard nothing but good things. Also, our main character is canon asexual, which we know I always love to have in a book, but it just sounds really excellent. I've heard the writing is beautiful, and I mean, the cover is stunning. Again, not like that actually matters, but like, I mean, look at it. Anyway, so I'm really excited to get to Elatsoe this month, because it's been way too long, and it's time. All right, so that is it. Those are all of the books that I'm planning on reading in January. Really, I'm just excited to, read books I'm excited about and to start the year off on a good foot. So we're going to see how it goes, but I'm feeling good about it. If you've read any of these books or you are also wanting to read any of these books, please hop into the comments. I would love to chat about them with you. Also, if you like this video, please like it. And if you want to stick around and watch more of my videos as they come, please hit that subscribe button. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I super appreciate it. And I will chat with you guys in the next one. Bye.